Hi, hello, good day. Today I will be presenting the story of Annie Frank, a young Jewish girl, from her life in the secret annex to her death in the concentration camp. As well as the presentation will concentrate on how her diary became one of the most powerful voices of courage during the Holocaust. The Holocaust was the genocide of European Jewish during World War II from a period of 1941 to 1945 when the Nazi Germany and its collaborators systematically murdered some 6 million Jews across German occupied Europe. And many have written on this Holocaust experience, but Annie Frank's The Diary of a Young Girl stands alone, or it stands great. So, I am KP Swapna, Assistant Professor, Department of English, and this presentation will concentrate from Annie Frank's life in hiding and beyond. So, this presentation is precisely divided into eight, which gives a short introduction about Annie Frank and then the secret annex, the daily life in secret annex, then Annie's diary, then her discovery, arrest, and transit, then the tragic end in Bergen Belsen, the legacy of Annie Frank, and finally remembering Annie Frank. So, starting with a short background, Annie Frank was a Jewish girl who documented her family's 2 years in hiding during the Holocaust. The Diary of Annie Frank is a record of her understanding of the war and showcases her incredible storytelling abilities in such horrific circumstances. So, as I told, so it starts from the secret annex. The previous part from the that is from the beginning of her diary to till this part, I have prepared another PPT which is already in the YouTube, so you can go for that. And this is from secret annex to her death. So, in the secret annex, the Frank family and others they hide in a concealed section of Otto Frank's Amsterdam office building, seeking refuge from Nazi persecution. They lived in cramped conditions, constantly fearing discovery, relying on brave helpers for supplies and news from outside world. So, have you ever imagined what it would be like to hide for 2 years, unable to step outside, simply to stay alive? So, this was the reality for Annie Frank, whose diary changed the world. So, this is what she had recorded, how she had spent those 2 years in the secret annex, and then she was found and her family, and finally, how they all were perished, victim, became victim in the hand of this great massacre. So the daily life and challenges in hiding, that is in secret annex. So they had to follow a very strict routine. And the life in annex was governed by strict rules. They like because they had to avoid detection. So including maintaining silence and limited movements was along with it. And this actually led to emotional strain. So naturally that happens, right? So the constant fear of discovery, lack of privacy, and isolation led to significant emotional strain and conflict among the residents. Despite the hardship, they found joy in decorating rooms, human connections they formed, and reading and trying to maintain a normal life thereby. So here we come to the important part of this presentation, Annie's diary. So Annie received her diary, which she named as Kitty, for her 13th birthday, providing an outlet for her thoughts, fears, and hopes during her confinement in the annex. Her entries offer a poignant and insightful perspective on adolescent, wartime experiences, and human resilience under extreme pressure. She detailed personal feelings, observations of her companions, and profound reflection on humanity and the unfolding war. Originally, this diary was titled as The Secret Annex. It was later published as Annie Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl, becoming a global symbol. So, after 2 years, they were discovered, and which led to arrest and they were sent to transit. On August 4, 1944, after an anonymous tip off, ending the Frank family's 2 year hiding period and leading to their arrest. The inhabitants were first sent to Westerbork, a transit camp in the Netherlands. Soon after, they were deported to Auschwitz concentration camp. So from Westerbork, they were. So this is how the Nazi government. Uh, this the way they had treated the Jews. They were sending them from one camp to another, and mercilessly they were killing them. And finally, she was sent to Bergen-Belsen. So, arrival on this camp, Annie and Margaret were transferred to Bergen-Belsen concentration camp in October 1944, facing extreme overcrowding and deprivation. The camp was severely unhygienic with minimal food, water, and shelter, leading to widespread disease and suffering among prisoners. So, the kind of epidemic that was spreading was typhus. A devastating typhus epidemic swept through Bergen-Belsen in early 1945, claiming thousands of lives, including Annie and Margaret. In 1945, Annie dies after Margaret Frank succumbed to typhus in Bergen-Belsen, just before the camp's liberation, a tragic end to her young life. British troops liberated Bergen-Belsen in April 1945 when they discovered the horrific scale of human suffering and death. So, however, though Annie couldn't survive because of uh, the epidemic, but yet her legacy still remains. And this her diary is a very powerful testament. It remains one of the most widely read books globally today, offering a deeply personal insight into the Holocaust horrors. It is a symbol of hope. Her story transcends time, inspiring millions with its message of resilience, hope, and the human spirit's enduring power. It also warns against hatred. Annie Frank's diary is a timeless warning against the perils of prejudice, hatred, and the importance of human dignity and understanding. So, the world, even till date, remembers Annie Frank. Her voice lives on through her diary. Annie Frank's diary ensures her voice continues to resonate, reminding us to never forget the past and to champion tolerance. Thank you very much.